Hello! So I've decided to put together a video to help out anyone trying or interested in Gyaru fashion. There's a lot of confusion about the style, and I think that might be because there's a really big variety of styles within the fashion. So I've asked 6 Gyaru icons to share some tips and advice with everyone. I've also put mine on the end, and there's also some split screen experimentation that goes on. Okay, so in no particular order, first up is a girl who a lot of people get inspiration from. She's incredibly beautiful. She's 21 years old, from Oslo in Norway. She's been Gyaru for around 6 years, and there's a link to her blog in the description along with everyone else's in this video. It's Monica Tang.
Hei alle sammen! For dere som ikke kjenner meg, så heter jeg Monica Tang. Jeg er altså med i denne videoen som ladyli lager. Og hennes første spørsmål til meg er What is Gyaru to you? Og da tenker jeg det at først og fremst så er det i bunn og grunn egentlig en mote. Men så tenker jeg også det at siden moten er så omfattende, så er det også noe mer enn bare det. Det er ikke som en vanlig mote der hvor du bare kan slenge på deg noen klær, og så er du liksom helt 100% ferdig. I denne stilen så er det mye mer omfattende. Det handler om hår, og det handler om negler, det handler om sminke. Altså alt sånne små ting man kanskje ikke tenker at en mote omfatter. Men ja, og for å få til alle de tingene så må man rett og slett ha en livsstil som gjør sånn at man kan utføre de tingene. Man må kunne for eksempel man må tåle det å stå opp 1 time tidligere enn alle andre for å fikse hår og sminke og finne klær og sånne ting. Og da tenker jeg det at, ja, for meg så er det rett og slett en livsstil. Og så spør henne meg om 5 Gyaru tips. Og da tenker jeg det første tipset mitt, det handler om at finn en stil du liker. Altså du må jo like noe for at det skal bli bra. Og nummer 2, altså finn inspirasjoner, finn altså blader, magasiner som passer den stilen. Hvis du liker den modne stilen, så nytter det ikke å drive og lese blader for folk som har en mindre voksen stil. Da tenker jeg det at det er veldig viktig. Og nummer 3, sett av tid. Sett av god tid til den moten. Dette er ikke en mote du bare kan starte med i dag og i morgen bli ferdig med. Du må rett og slett bruke en del god tid på å shoppe, og det å fikse eller farge håret, det å kjøpe sminke, og øve deg på alt det der. Bruk god tid, det er ikke noe du bare kan haste med. Og var det 3 eller 4? Nummer 4. Tips nummer 4, det er at du skal altså, jeg kommer sikkert til å bli drept for å si det, men det koster penger. Altså, å ta etterveksten hver måned koster jo litt penger, og det at du skal kjøpe linser, og linsevann koster penger, det at du skal kjøpe sminke koster penger, og handle klær koster, og da tenker jeg det at selv om folk ikke liker at jeg sier det, så må du ha litt penger å kunne rutte med. Og nummer 5, det tenker jeg er det viktigste tipset mitt, og det grunnleggende i alt annet, og det er at du skal ha det gøy. Hvis du ikke liker hvis du ikke liker å se på mote, da blir det veldig kjedelig å måtte gjøre en sånn stil. Eller hvis du rett og slett ikke liker hår, da blir det også veldig kjedelig. Så du må rett og slett like de greiene her og ha det gøy. Så det er det jeg vil si. Tusen takk for at dere så på. Jeg håper jeg fikk inspirert noen flere, eller svart på noen spørsmål dere måtte ha.
Next up is Valentine from LA, California. I really love her outfits. They really are awesome. She's been Gyaru since 2006, and there's also a link to her blog in the description.
Hey guys, it's Valentine. I am in Los Angeles, California, and I belong to the Gyaru Diamond. I've been in it since 2008. I think if you're an outsider looking in, it's kind of hard to say really what Gyaru is. There's so many different styles. There's tough and cool, punky and edgy, sexy and elegant, sweet and flirty. So it's really hard to pinpoint it, but I think the overarching element of Gal is really celebrating being confident as a woman and really accentuating all your femininity. I mean, big curls, long hair, big eyes, big lash, big heel, clothes that really show off your figure. It's all about really just being a really sexy, sassy woman. So, I think my number one tip for Western gals, the first, number one, top one, would be always, 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 always highlight and contour. A lot of gals are going to tell you that's just for Japanese girls to look Western, so there's no point in Western girls doing it, but that is really not true. Doing the highlighting and contour really brings the whole look together, and it's really going to make a noticeable difference between just a Western girl and a Western gal. And I think my second tip would be, if you really want to make your eyes pop, always use the length of a top lash along your lower lash. And a lot of gals don't like to do this, but always sit your top lash farther back on the lid, because it makes the lashes taller, which really opens up the eyes much bigger. So, my third one would be, don't be afraid to get crafty. A lot of Japanese brands and styles have a lot of embellishments and details that aren't as readily available in Western stores or clothes. So you can always add chains, add bling, make a brooch, add a pin, you know, all kinds of stuff, even make your own nails. And making your own stuff really distinguishes your personal style. And it also is highly appreciated in the Western gal community. My fourth tip is definitely, I mean, it's just a repetition of what I said previously. You have to have confidence. Wearing such a gaudy, standout style like this, it really takes confidence. So if you don't have it, fake it. And I guess my last tip to you would be, if you can in your gal life, at least once, buy an item from a Japanese brand, just to show them that they have a market and fan base overseas. If the gal industry sees there's interest over here, they may be interested in bringing over models or singers or fashion shows or events. So let's always show support for our Gyaru culture. So, I mean, I guess that's it for me. So, thank you so much for listening.
Next are two gorgeous Gyaru who are currently living together in Tokyo, Shiena and Ashley. They're both 21. Shiena is from Vancouver and Ashley is from Japan but lived in America for a very long time. They've been Gyaru for 4 years and they really know what they're talking about. Again, blogs in the description.
ブラクラクのアシュリです。
ブラクラクのシエナです。
レディリーの大人なのでこのビデオを撮ります。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。What is gal to us? Gal is a fashion and a attitude. Some people may go as far as saying it's a lifestyle, but with the variety of gals today, it varies from person to person and style to style.
For example, you know, like a B-gal might be, you know, practicing dance routines, whereas a Hime-gal might be hitting up a butler cafe. But you know, even within the same fraction of gal, there's going to be the individuality factor. People vary from person to person.
Next would be tips for new gals. One tip would be that remember gal is a fashion, so therefore trend is very key. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone should wear exactly the same thing. You know,
for example, the whole foxtail trend that's really popular. I think I've seen a lot of you guys in the West wearing them, and they're really popular here in Japan. We decided to give it our own little twist. Everybody seems to buy black, gray, brown, you know, normal colors for fur. We bought, I got green and she got pink. So, you know, it sounds a little weird, but, you know, like, everybody, when they see them, they're like, oh my god, they have this kind of color? Which, to be fair, actually, they're all over the stores. So, how they don't know that there's fun colors is beyond me. Maybe they're just so focused on staying exactly on trend that they almost miss the point. And when you add your own flair to a trend, you can actually keep using the item even when it's not trendy anymore because it's yours and yours alone. You have that personal touch to it.
Number two, don't be too hard on yourself, actually. I mean, a lot of people I've been hearing like saying, look at the magazine, but forget that models are models for a reason. Gals come in all shapes and sizes, even here in Tokyo. Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit skinnier. It's always best to keep in mind to pick clothing that's most flattering for your body, rather than for some model that you don't even know.
Not to mention the fact that like we've too many times seen girls that we squeal, "Oh my god, you're so cute! Oh, kawaii!" Just because, like, and they're actually, you know, by some of your guys' standards, probably wouldn't be just because of their size. Some of you beat yourselves up even over it. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to other girls who are successful with the style right here in Japan, who just because they don't look like the girls in the magazines, you're not considering them gal. Just because you're not thin like the girls in the magazines, you're not considering yourself gal.
Number 3 would be to keep in mind that coordination is and the whole package itself is the most important thing. Brand is not everything. Like, I've seen people who wear all brand and don't look gal at all, whereas I've seen other people wear like completely H&M coordinates or something like that and still look very gal.
Exactly.
It's all depending on like how the whole overall look. I think sometimes what's even more important than clothes is gal makeup and hair and such.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've seen girls in their kombini uniform or like their izakaya getup for work, and they look undeniably gal despite that. And by some of your guys' like way of thinking, sometimes it's like you almost shun any outfit that doesn't look gal based on the magazine standards. And while I agree with you, and a fashionable outfit looks way better than any of that, you can still look gal if the hair and the makeup is on point, no matter what you're wearing.
Number 4, for absolute beginners, I recommend just try to stay a little bit more closely to the trends, because basically I think sometimes the girls make the mistake of putting too much of their current self into the fashion too quickly before gal has really become they become really comfortable with being a gal. That way, once you start getting up to a certain, like, a good level of comfortability, then you can start adding your own kind of flavor to it and still look gal after that.
I think another important point to mention is that you shouldn't lose yourself in pursuit of the fashion. I know a lot of us, when we're pursuing gal, we really want our friends to be gal, but you have to remember, just like not everyone's meant to be a singer or a soccer player, not everyone's meant for gal, so you shouldn't be shocked when your friends don't want to embrace the style the same way you have. So you shouldn't shut yourself off to people who have been your good friends for years or anything just because they're not sharing the same interest as you, because you know what, chances are their other interests still lie intact with you. I know a lot of gals who most of their friends are actually very normal girls, like, that aren't gal at all, just because that's who they mesh the best with.
That's it, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
So anyways, thank you ladyli for inviting us to this gal project, and best of luck to everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye, thank you guys.
Next is Lisha. She's quite well known for doing the more extreme makeup, and she really does make the style her own. She's 21 from Chicago. She's been Gyaru for 3 years, and there's also a link to her blog in the description.
Hi, Lisha here. Gal, in my opinion, is a sexy rebellion. I say this because you're dressing sexy, fashionable hair, makeup, clothes, outfits, accessories, nails. And a rebellion because you're dressing out of the ordinary usually, than other people, banba to even just cute, sexy fashion.